A woman decides to take revenge after discovering that her husband was cheating on her. Dear viewers, welcome to our channel. Subscribe to receive more stories every day. On the day of her wedding anniversary, Elena Carson decided to surprise her husband, David, by visiting him at his office. However, she never expected that she would be the one to receive a shock. Upon arriving at the office, Elena discovered David was having an affair with his secretary, Lily. Driven by a mix of anger and heartbreak, she began to plot her revenge. Elena and David had always seemed like the perfect couple. Married for 5 years, they were the picture of happiness. Elena, a woman with a gentle smile and calm demeanor, was 32 years old and exuded a comforting warmth. She had given up her career in marketing to be a full-time mother to their 6-month-old son, Ethan. Caring for her son and home became her mission, and she embraced it with all the love she had. David, now 38, was a successful corporate lawyer, well-respected in Chicago. His demanding career kept him busy, but he always made sure to carve out special moments for his family. Attentive and affectionate, David had a way of making Elena feel like the most cherished woman in the world. Their relationship was built on trust and companionship, and everything seemed ideal. Amidst their seemingly perfect life, baby Ethan was the true joy of their lives. Every smile, every coo from their son filled their home with happiness and tenderness. They both took immense pride in being parents to such a special child and in creating memories that would be cherished for years to come. As their wedding anniversary approached, the day was filled with anticipation. Elena, wanting to show her appreciation for David's dedication as a husband and father, planned to surprise him in a way that would be unforgettable. She asked David about his schedule on their anniversary, but he mentioned that work had become unexpectedly demanding, making it hard to predict when he could return home. This response left Elena feeling uneasy, as David had always made time for them on this special day in the past. Despite the unsettling feeling, Elena chose to approach the situation with empathy. Instead of feeling frustrated or hurt, she decided to take the initiative and plan a surprise visit to his office, hoping to create a memorable evening for both of them. But Elena had no idea that the surprise awaiting her would not be a pleasant one. It would be something that would change her life forever. On the day of the celebration, filled with the excitement of preparing something with all her love, Elena dressed in a carefully chosen outfit, adding a touch of elegance and allure to her appearance. After leaving her son with a trusted babysitter, she left the house, eager to see the look on David's face when she arrived at his office. David's office was located in downtown Chicago, in a sleek skyscraper that stood out against the skyline. The spacious, well-lit office was a reflection of his dedication to his profession, with shelves filled with legal books and framed diplomas that testified to his success. As Elena entered the modern building, her heart raced. She imagined David's surprise and felt a sense of fulfillment. As she approached his office door, she noticed it was slightly ajar. And before she could open it, Elena caught sight of a scene that made her world crumble. David and Lily were together, their closeness unmistakable, and Elena felt an overwhelming sense of betrayal. Elena's heart froze as she took in the sight. The smile that had adorned her face vanished instantly, and she stood motionless, as if paralyzed by what she was witnessing. In disbelief, she watched as David, with the same charming smile that once belonged to her, now directed his affection towards Lily. His hands, which had once lovingly traced her body, were now exploring someone else's. In quiet whispers, they communicated, and while Elena couldn't make out the words, their body language spoke volumes. The proximity between them, the intimate gestures, everything pointed to a relationship that should never have existed. Elena's stomach churned, and hot tears streamed down her face, reflecting the pain of her shattered trust and broken heart. A mix of disbelief, anger, and hurt surged through her veins, making her heart pound erratically. The sight of David, the man she had loved and trusted, sharing this intimacy with another woman left her stunned. Standing at the doorway, her mind struggled to process the scene before her. She wanted to scream, to demand answers, to tear apart the illusion she had lived under. But the words stuck in her throat, as if an invisible force held her back. Crying silently, She left the office unnoticed by David. The drive home was filled with questions. How could he do this to her, to the love they had built over so many years? Every joyful memory, every promise of fidelity now seemed tainted by this betrayal. The man she thought she knew so well now seemed like a stranger, transformed by choices she couldn't comprehend. The image of their son, who had always been the unbreakable bond between them, made the pain even sharper. She recalled the nights they had dreamed of a future for Ethan, the plans they had made to build a strong family, now shattered in an instant. Elena questioned whether their entire relationship had been a lie, if every affectionate moment had been a rehearsed act to hide the truth. The pain mixed with anger, and she couldn't understand how David had been so selfish. The betrayal wasn't just an act between adults. It was something that would affect their child's life and future. The firm, determined look in Elena's eyes showed that she wouldn't let this go unpunished. Driven by the fury of a betrayed woman, Elena was determined to make David pay for his actions and feel the same pain she was experiencing. She began plotting her revenge. With pen in hand, Elena started noting down everything she could find about Lily. Her social media, the places she frequented, her circle of friends. Every detail was transformed into a tool for the plan she was about to execute. One thing caught Elena's attention. Lily, the woman who was betraying her, was also married. Her husband, Mark, a seemingly ordinary man, had no idea what Lily was up to during work hours. Engulfed in her turbulent thoughts, Elena felt the need to turn her pain into something more, something that would make both David and Lily understand the weight of their actions. With a heavy heart, she dialed Mark's number, deciding to share the harsh truth with him. Mark's voice, initially confused, soon turned to shock as he listened to Elena's revelations. With a mixture of anger and sadness, Elena laid out the betrayal their spouses had committed. Mark, who had already suspected something was amiss, found a confidant in Elena. Overcoming his initial hesitation, Mark agreed with Elena. They couldn't let this go unpunished. They formed an alliance, a conspiracy to show David and Lily the pain they had inflicted. They would be the architects of a plan that would make their betrayal come back to haunt them. As the days passed, Elena and Mark secretly united, exchanging messages and meeting discreetly. They began crafting the details of their plan, weaving a web of deception and manipulation. As they worked together, Elena found herself identifying more and more with Mark. The bond between them grew stronger, and they discovered many shared experiences and values. Mark's simplicity and intelligence resonated with Elena, and their conversations became a source of genuine pleasure. They spent hours exchanging ideas, finding solace in each other's company as they plotted their revenge. Their growing connection was unexpected, blossoming from the ashes of their shared betrayal. With each meeting, the bond between them deepened, leading to a friendship that emerged from the darkness of their previous relationships. The daily exchange of messages and discreet meetings at a city hotel became routine. Every time Elena received a notification on her phone, she couldn't help but feel a rush of anticipation. When the message was from Mark, a smile would play on her lips, reflecting the happiness their connection brought her. With Mark's presence, the wounds caused by David's betrayal began to heal. As they meticulously planned their revenge, they also explored their own emotions, transforming their initial anger into mutual understanding. Meanwhile, David began to notice changes in Elena's behavior. The loving and attentive wife he knew had become more reserved and distant. Concerned, he questioned if everything was okay. Elena's response that she had never felt better only confused him further, making him wonder if something was going on. Elena's anxiety when receiving notifications and her smile when reading messages aroused David's suspicion. When questioned, she claimed to be talking to an old friend, though David knew she wasn't one for frequent conversations. His suspicions grew, leading him to wonder if Elena was hiding something. The fog of distrust settled over David, growing with each passing day. He couldn't ignore the signs, the distant glances, the whispered messages. It was as if a thin veil of secrets had descended between them, and David couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong. One evening, as he watched Elena from across the room, David found himself consumed by doubt. She seemed distant, lost in thoughts he couldn't decipher. Whenever he brought up her behavior, she gave vague explanations and weak smiles, as if hiding something. David's sleepless nights became more frequent as he wondered if the woman he loved was drifting away from him. Then one morning, while sorting through papers in his office, David came across a business card, a private detective's card. The name on the card was a bitter reminder of his growing suspicions. With the determination of someone ready to face their worst fears, David dialed the number. The detective's voice was calm and professional, promising discretion and truth. David provided Elena's name and daily routine, ensuring that his secret would remain protected. He wasn't ready to reveal to anyone the obsession that had taken root in his mind. The days dragged on, each one more torturous than the last, until finally, a plain white envelope arrived. Inside were photographs, Elena and a man, hand in hand, entering a hotel. Shock and rage collided in David's chest, forming a storm of emotions he could barely control. The detective had given him the undeniable proof he sought. Along with the photos, there was also a transcript of compromising conversations between Elena and the man. It was all David needed to confirm his worst fears. Determined to confront Elena, David arranged for the detective to notify him the next time she left the house. When Elena left and got into an unfamiliar car, the detective alerted David, who dropped everything and followed her. His heart pounded as he tailed Elena, his mind racing with thoughts of betrayal and revenge. As he followed her car through the streets of Chicago, David felt a mix of anger, sadness, and dread. Every turn, every stop brought him closer to the truth he dreaded. When Elena's car finally pulled into the hotel parking lot, David's world came crashing down. He watched as she stepped out with the man and walked into the hotel. Overwhelmed by a whirlwind of emotions, David followed them into the hotel, each step heavy with the weight of his discovery. He reached the door of their room and could hear laughter and muffled voices inside, confirming his fears. With a burst of anger, he pushed the door open. Inside, Elena stood with the man, Mark. A wave of uncontrollable rage washed over David. His eyes burned with a mix of despair and fury as he unleashed a torrent of insults, accusing Elena of being a traitor and a liar. Elena listened in silence, which only fueled David's anger. He wanted answers, explanations for the betrayal he had uncovered. As the confrontation escalated, Elena calmly raised her head and looked at David with a resolve he had never seen before. Enough, David. You talk about betrayal, but have you ever considered your own actions? Maybe this is just karma. David was stunned into silence as Elena continued. I know about you and Lily. Stop pretending to be the victim. You pointed the finger at me, but it's you who's the liar and cheater. Desperately, David tried to justify his affair, claiming it was a momentary lapse, but Elena cut him off. What you saw was a part of a plan to make you feel exactly what I felt. Mark and I never had an affair. Everything was staged to make you believe I was betraying you, just as you betrayed me. Elena revealed that she had orchestrated everything, from planting the detective's card to ensuring David found out about her supposed affair. It was all part of her revenge, and David had walked right into the trap. The realization hit him like a ton of bricks, leaving him speechless. In a final blow, Elena told David he was free to pursue his relationship with Lily, but their marriage was over. The pain in her eyes was evident, but so was her determination to move on. Mark, too, ended his marriage with Lily, who, facing the consequences of her actions, left the firm and distanced herself from David. In the end, the truth was revealed, the masks were removed, and the tangled web of deceit unraveled. Elena and Mark found a new beginning, having learned from the pain of their past. David was left to ponder the choices that had led to his downfall. In life's journey, some crossroads offer no way back. It's best to choose the right path from the start. Dear viewers, thank you for watching. If you like this story, please subscribe to our channel to receive more stories every day. Share with us what you think of this story.